Welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Academy episode with the amazing Jenny Mitchell. Now, Jenny is an absolutely incredible businesswoman, and it's my pleasure to have our podcast today. I'm going to pass over to Jenny, entrepreneur, businesswoman. Jenny, tell our audience what you do, because you do so many things.
Thank you, my posh friend Susan.
That's an ongoing joke between us.
Yes, so I run a serviced accommodation business / management. Me and my husband run this for about 5 years. We also source properties. We help investors get a better return on their money instead of sitting in the bank. So we do quite a few bits and bobs. We've just got involved in a franchise. We're just trying to take on a cleaning business. We've had a couple of people approach us. They want us to get involved with that. So there's always something going on. So that's about it, really.
Oh, well, there's a lot more to it. Jenny, you mentioned 5 years ago. Did you start your own business or entrepreneurship 5 years ago, or there's something before that?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I used to be a dog breeder and a dog behaviourist, but that game was, fell out of bed, basically, as they say. So I opened a cleaning business and it just grew, done really well. And my husband Sam had a few Airbnbs up in a certain area, and the lockdown hit,
Mm.
which obviously was a bit of a body blow for everybody. Things like that happen for a reason, stuff like that. You have to make it a positive thing. So I stopped cleaning because you couldn't go to people's houses, so I couldn't send teams out. But we could, with the serviced accommodation, still house people because they're key workers.
Yes, of course.
I basically got involved with it because my husband ran a groundworks business also, which he still could work outside with that business. They were still working outside his employees. So basically, it grew from there. And that's where we got involved in it. So I gave my cleaning business to my daughter, and I just carried on with the serviced accommodation, got some training, and then it's just grown from there, really. So that's how it got involved with that business.
And you make it sound easy, and of course we all know it's not easy. So if someone's thinking of starting up a business or looking at an opportunity, is there any sort of advice you would give them, areas of expertise, or is it just...
I've Yeah, no, you absolutely, Susan. I personally think myself is any business that you do gets a mentor or gets some training, or, you know, we all we all think we know everything, but we don't know anything, if you know what I mean. It's always good to be around people that can advise you right. And having a mentor in business, I have a mentor in business and I have a mentor in the business, the line of business I do, and I have a mentor there. And that
Right.
helps you a lot because you've always got someone to pick the phone up to, bounce ideas off of, and just brainstorm with people, or even just having people around you that do the same as what you do.
Absolutely, because it's that loneliness of the entrepreneur, and you and Sam work so well together, but you still need other people, as you say, don't you?
You can, exactly. And that's the thing, is like, I work from home. We have got an office, but we don't ever go there. We just work from home. And like is doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. But he's lonely because you're on the phone, although you're speaking to people or doing work and working with your employees, it's still lonely because they're your employees. They're people that you're trying to find houses for or speaking to investors. But you just want someone to just go, God, what a shit day today. You know what I mean? I've had this person that's done that, and I've had that investor say that, and I've had that. You just want to have a little rant more than anything, don't you? I think.
No, absolutely, I agree with you. And there's nowhere to vent. Although, as you say, look, we need to look at things in a positive light. Sometimes you just want to say that was horrible.
Yeah,
That's the truth, isn't it?
exactly. I've had a shit day today.
Yeah.
Someone help me out here, you know?
Yeah. And the value of community and having the mentors. So then the next question obviously is, how do we find the mentors? Because there's so many people out there. Is it just someone you like bump into, or do you go looking for them? What's been your experience?
The funny thing is you can, as you get older, you
Mm.
sort of find the people that are fake it till you make it. So you normally find the good, bad, and ugly. We done a lot of research with our serviced accommodation mentor. We done a lot of research. We went to a lot of, you go to these seminars and take you to the back of the room and they go, we will give you everything, just sign up for £10,000. We done so many of them, but it's just building a rapport up with someone, isn't it? And sort of getting and using your common sense, check the people out, find out what it's all about.
Due diligence. It's so easy to be swept up in the moment, and buyer's remorse we're all familiar with. And I think everyone listening to this conversation will say, yeah, I've been there and I've done that. And it's getting more and more talked about. As we know, we were at an event at the weekend, weren't we, where
I understand. I understand people. Look, everyone's got to make a living. These people are laying these events on, and they're laying money out. People are paying 20 to £100 a ticket, maybe more. But you know, you've got to weigh up the pros and cons. What value are going to get out of it?
that's a really good question. What value are you going to get out of it? Is it just social connections, which is not a bad thing at all, but if you're going for real value or real learning, do the checking.
Yeah, but you go to a lot of these seminars and there's a lot of people there just for the social circles, and they just sign up for the course for £6,000 because they're just a prolific networker and they just want to make friends, which I get. You know, I get. I'm not one of those. I've got better things to spend my money on. If I get value out of it, I'm all up for it. If I don't get value out of it, then I'll just walk to the next one. But networking is a great idea anyway, because you're meeting people. With us, we do business networking and we do property networking. So try and find some networking that are in the same line of work as you do. Like it's best to rub shoulders with people that are on the same wavelength. You're not against each other with any business, because you're better off working together than against each other.
Absolutely. And I think that's a point that's overlooked, isn't it? People think, oh my goodness, we're direct competitors, but there's so many people out there that can be our customers. It doesn't matter, does it? As you say, it's synergy, isn't it? Yeah. So
you're better in numbers, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. People got your back as well and give you a heads up about things that are changing and everything. How did you get into property? And I want to ask you a bit more about that, if I may.
Well, we back in about 20 years ago, maybe a bit longer, me and Sam used to flip properties in Brighton, but we used to buy them, refurb them, and then sell them. But the funny thing is if we knew now what we knew back then, we wouldn't have sold one property. And we would have had a portfolio of millions, because we have properties in the middle of Brighton, Kemp Town. These are very, very expensive properties now. So,
and I'll just say for people listening from other parts of the world, we're talking about 10 miles from where Jenny's talking, and the price is just literally double in the next 10 miles, if not more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It must be the second most expensive place in England after London, I would think, Brighton, or close.
And that's the thing is yet again, it's back to, you don't know what you don't know, do you? We didn't know that. We didn't have people to educate us on properties. We just thought back then was, you buy a property, you do it up and you sell it. You buy a property, you do it up and you sell it. Sometimes you get 10 grand, sometimes you get 50 grand. But if we knew what we knew now, we wouldn't have done that. We would have kept them, refinanced and pulled the money out and gone again.
Well, and what rear view mirror is a wonderful thing, but also it was right at the time, and no doubt that moved you on towards other things you were doing. So I'm trying to sound positive on this one, but I can look at those $1 million properties in Brighton. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit more about serviced accommodation, because not everybody's familiar with the acronyms and the terms, and obviously you're an expert at this. So let's say to people, if you're in a different country, different area, haven't done it before, get to know your subject well. That's good advice, I think, before you start, isn't it?
Exactly. So serviced accommodation is basically, we work with landlords, we even work with estate agents, anything like that. So we rent a property, and then we rent it again. Now, people say it's subletting, it isn't. If estate agents say this, it's subletting, it isn't, because we rent it on a guest basis, not an SAT, which is a tenancy. So we're not doing it as a tenancy, we're doing it as a guest. So we're not subletting. And that's what a lot of agents don't understand. But if you speak to a lot of agents, none of them get the concept. None of them don't want to get the concept. Personally, myself, is how I see it is, so we take all the maintenance issues away. We have our own cleaning teams. We have our own people that clean the windows, mow the lawns, literally do everything. So we work with we work with a lot of agents that we work with. We basically take their property off them and they never hear from us again.
They just get paid for, they're just, yeah. So for a busy,
Exactly.
someone who's not capable of looking after them, lots of different scenarios, I imagine, this is a godsend, it sounds to me. They get their rent money, they have no worries, no tenants calling them up about the broken water or the floorboard or the noisy neighbour or whatever.
Exactly. And to be quite honest with you, most people that have got a second home or have moved in with a partner, have got married and they've got a second home, or through divorce, or just got some extra cash, they want to buy a property, but you've got to remember the rent reform bill's just come out, and this is which is really sad. It gives tenants more rights, which for landlords is not a good thing. So they can have pets if they want to. They can buy the property at a discounted rate. They can literally, tenants have got more rights, where we are the tenant and where we rent it on like a short-term basis. They're guests, so they can leave tomorrow. If we tell people they have to get out tomorrow, they have to get out.
So you're actually protecting, in a way, you're protecting the owner from all those negatives you've just mentioned.
Exactly. Exactly. And I feel bad for the landlords at the moment. We are landlords at the moment, and it's quite scary to think that tenants have more rights and they don't have to pay them. But look how many people stopped paying their rent through COVID, and
Yeah,
people were getting into trouble. Landlords were having to pay their mortgage still.
absolutely. I mean, there's a balance, obviously, isn't there? We know they're rogue landlords, of course, and those shouldn't be allowed. But the fact that a tenant, as I understand it, in the UK anyway, we're talking about the UK, England, to be fair,
Yeah,
the fact that the tenant cannot pay their rent and it's almost impossible to get them out, I think, from my understanding.
it is. And you have its court proceedings, and then it costs thousands of pounds, and it's just too stressful, isn't it? I think it's too stressful.
Absolutely. How do you find new properties?
So we do had as you know, Susan, I talk a lot. So I tell people and I scream and shout about what I do. And then it's just word of mouth, a lot of it as well. We are doing an advert on the radio, more radio, which is coming soon. We do a lot of Facebook posts and just stuff like that, and just word of mouth. I love a Facebook post anyway, as Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that stuff. So
I guess it's grown organically. You start with one thing and then move on to other things. I mean, one thing is someone is starting a business, they might start with their Facebook posts and then think, oh, maybe I'll boost that post, or maybe then and I guess putting up print adverts as well. There's in local shops, in supermarkets, in your local area to find properties and things like that. What I'm saying, a lot of people just think digital, don't they? But there's, as you said, it's communication, isn't it?
but networking, I love meeting different people, different jobs. I love collecting telephone numbers, and it's all to do with as well is if you come across someone that needs help from you, or you might know someone that needs that, you've got a contact list. It's building up that contact list. It's really good, and it's healthy to help other people because they end up becoming your power team.
100%. And in terms of the cleaning business, do you still run your own cleaning business as well? You said, didn't you?
I used to run my own cleaning business,
Because
and I enjoyed that. But then I've had three cleaning companies that approached me, and they want me to help them run their cleaning business. And I'm thinking, how many more things? So it's something I'm looking into, but I don't think my daughter liked it.
you're getting
I'm going to headhunt your cleaners, by the way.
the reason I hooked onto that is because it is so difficult to find good tradespeople and good cleaners. I have my own experience, and it's difficult to find quality service. So when you've got that quality service, it sort of sells itself, doesn't it?
And absolutely. So cleaning business was built on word of mouth, and I actually used to get my hands dirty myself, and it was good. And I was the business. And then I was training the teams to how cleaning, because being a cleaner, you think, oh, you can just be a cleaner. You can't just be a cleaner, because I'm a bit OCD anyway. So now with my serviced accommodation, I have cleaners that clean my properties. I'll surprise turn up and do a walkthrough. And then when I do a walkthrough and I take lots of pictures and they go, well, this is this. And no, it isn't. I've run a cleaning business. And if you go to an Airbnb or if you go and stay in a hotel, you go and stay anywhere. If it's dirty, you're going to think, oh, I don't really want to go here again, do you?
Exactly.
Like, oh.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's my reputation. It's the reputation of the business. If something's bad, they're going to leave a bad review.
And quite rightly. So I think that speaks to another point for people when they're thinking of starting a business. A lot of people go high for different ideas and things that they've not got any experience in, but do things that are simpler. And you've got some hands-on experiences. You just said, or you know what you're doing. Don't just jump on the next hot thing and think you can do it.
The best thing to do in business is do something you like and you love and you actually want to get up in the morning for.
Yeah.
If you don't bloody bother, because you're not going to put no effort into it.
No.
And number two is if you find a job that you actually love and love getting up for, you always find another business you could open that's stringing on to the other business that you've got, because you broaden your mind on different things and other ways you can earn money, and putting your fingers in other pies in the same thing but not the same thing. It all branches off. Like with us, like we run a serviced accommodation, that's all we've done. And now I do management because that's another thing to branch off. And then the sourcing is another thing to branch off, and helping investors invest in properties that we can help them run. That's another thing. Now a cleaning business is, which I could do, is another thing that will branch off of what I do. So then you have multiple streams of income through your little umbrella.
Yeah, and through your area of expertise. So tell us more about the sourcing, because a lot of people don't really understand what it is, and I'm not so clear, because some people say you have to be X, Y, and Z training qualifications, but it makes sense. If you know property, you can advise.
Well, you've met Sam, and he's very good with numbers. I'm the one that goes blah blah, but he's a number cruncher, loves a spreadsheet. I can't buy the spreadsheet, but yeah. So he's basically sourcing properties, is finding properties under market value, and finding people that want to do serviced accommodation. So you find them a serviced accommodation property and just make sure that their numbers stack so they're not going to lose. Because if we're earning money and other people are earning money, everybody's happy.
Makes huge sense. And in the serviced accommodation, so talk us through, let's say I wanted to do this tomorrow, and I'm not going to because I respect the fact I've got to do quite a little bit of homework, but what are the sort of the main steps to getting that property and getting good tenants? No magic pill, but what's the main path?
Right. So the best way to do it is, you can never guarantee good guests anyway. You just can't do it. Most people will get the first property of somebody they know, because people will only work with other people that they know, like, and trust. Same goes for all of us. And then use that as a guinea pig, or even if you have a property yourself, try it yourself. Just put it on booking.com. If it's furnished, you need to furnish it and do all the little bits to it. Have some professional pictures and just do that, and just put it on Airbnb, booking.com.
Yeah.
Like if you've got an annex in your property, have some really nice pictures, dress it all up, make it look really pretty, and just pop it on booking.com. Simple. Or Airbnb.
Absolutely. I'll keep it uncomplicated, basically.
Just keep it simple, girlfriend. So simple.
Yeah, that's my mantra. Keep it simple from technology.
Keep it simple. And if I can do it, anyone can do it, trust.
I'm not so sure about that. You are a pretty amazing person. Folks, don't confuse and thinking everything's easy, but when you're doing it, keep it simple and it becomes...
Keep it simple. And then once you do it, the more you do it, it becomes a piece of cake. I
was joking, I've got an Airbnb room at the moment, but it's a simple little model. I'm finding out things just from having, I must say, a few amazing guests, but there's, right, I didn't think of that. Don't go big.
Always got me. If you get another house, just phone me, Susan. I'll tell you what to do. That's all you need.
And it's a good opportunity to say, don't forget to look in the show notes, guys, because we'll have all Jenny's contact points there, and you can follow her on social media and see what she gets up to, which is, I mean, it's amazing what you do.
Scary.
It's so busy. Yeah, and you're a mum and a grandmum as well. Am I allowed to say that? I've said it now.
Yeah, 5 children, 3 grandchildren.
So if such a busy person can do this with an amazing husband who's going to be on the podcast soon, in general terms, not necessarily your own business terms, but what's the exit plan? Should we have a business that we sell on? We have an exit plan. A lot of people end up, as we know, working in their business.
That is a really, really good question.
Thank you.
Really good question, because I've been talking to this about the other day. So when you do a business, you never do your name, because if you ever want to sell it, it's got your name. So that's it.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, I used to work a lot in my business all the time. I was really involved in it. But now I've taken more staff on. I have an ops manager, and all our staff works remotely. So they're not even in the country.
Right.
So if I decided to ever sell my business, my staff go with it
Yeah.
and they literally run it for me.
That makes huge sense. You, in many ways, are the invisible person behind the scenes.
So I don't have no sick pay to pay, no holiday pay. I can't come to work today because I've got a bone in my leg. I can't come to work because my child's got a headache and my wife can't do this and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I've heard every excuse in the book because Sam's got a groundswork business. And I'm telling you now, there's no way I would employ. I deal with cleaners, and if they're no good and they just make up shit, they have to go, because I need reliable teams and staff members, and because
That's
you've
very
got to keep the ship going, haven't you?
absolutely, and it has a knock-on effect, doesn't it? And and I'm sure you're someone who will respect the truth. Really sorry, stupid. Woke up with a headache. I can't come today. I will make it up. That's much better than all this ridiculous.
Oh God, don't even go there. They're just like my dog I got to take my dog to the vet. I got to do it at the weekend. But when all my staff are virtual, two of them in the Philippines, one of them is South Africa, the South African ops manager, and that is something else that we're helping doing as well. So I help now other businesses find ops managers, because my ops manager to me has been a game changer and a complete eye opener. So now I help businesses. So you could have plumbing business, any business, any service accommodation, sourcing, any business, any business you can think of, we can help you find an ops manager to
Mm.
help you run your business, because there's people in South Africa, like my ops manager probably knows more about booking.com and more about bookkeeping, more about social media. She does everything. She's a game changer. So now we help businesses, which is another finger in another pie. We're helping businesses to find ops managers to help them work on their business or in their business.
Yeah.
Because I'm speaking of life experiences. I used to wake up at 6 and then put my laptop down at 10 o'clock at night. Now I spend 2 hours in the morning. I sort my day's work out. I go out and I have lunch, or go and see my grandchildren, or go shopping, or I go to a business meeting, or I do some network. And then I come back and I just read my emails and fill in again. I can pick it up and put it down all day because I've got an ops manager that runs my business.
Fantastic. That is really a really good piece of information, because there'll be some people starting out and think, and at the beginning you do it all yourself, as you said, don't you? And then you get to the point, maybe if it's digital, you get a virtual assistant. And to be honest, I've already thought, how am I going to let my virtual assistant know what to do? It's just been, but to have someone be able to take that whole load, and obviously you've trained them and got them into that position, haven't you?
It's been so simple though, because I've found the ops manager that's half got the gist of what I'm doing. So she used to work for an Airbnb company. So
Fantastic.
in South Africa, there's people that are looking for jobs that have run plumbing companies or run loads of different companies, and they're still looking for work, or they're looking for something better. And a lot of people from South Africa want to work from home because their moms, or because when the lockdown hit, people got used to working from home and
Yeah.
running their lives from home.
Yeah, absolutely. And in bigger continents, I've noticed with friends in Canada, they're so far from places sometimes, it's just not practical traveling.
My ops manager this week, she's been at a dancing competition with her daughter. She's not missed an email, missed a message, missed a phone call, missed nothing.
Wow, amazing. Gosh, there's one takeaway only from this conversation. Remember that. And people can get in touch with you to help find an ops manager. It's a service,
Yeah,
obviously.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because I
It's
I
helping.
think it was a light bulb moment for me. And I think, like I said, keep it simple.
100%.
Isn't it?
Absolutely. And you mentioned plumber businesses like that. What I find amazing is I've never, when you want a plumber or an electrician, it's always like an emergency, isn't it?
Yeah.
Various different plumbers, electricians over the years, but nobody ever sends you an email, leaves a business card. So I'm always starting from scratch and been saying to plumbers and electricians, please, just ask for someone's email with their permission. Keep in touch, give them hints. There's so many ways to, and an ops manager for those sort of services could be doing all those sorts of things. Apart from
Absolutely.
my mind is exploding with ideas that,
Well,
yeah.
we've got a guy that runs the bathrooms. He does refurbs on bathrooms. And he said he was out pricing jobs himself. And he said, I'm struggling to actually do the phone calls and the appointments. And his ops manager, there's only him and the ops manager, but she does his bookkeeping. He's literally his PA. So she'll organize his appointments. And all he has to do is go to the jobs and price them up. And she sends the quotes out, and it
Amazing.
just make life simple for yourself.
Yeah.
Life's too short. I've got better things to do than sit and worry about a light bulb at one of the properties.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the team take over that. I don't need it in my life.
That makes so much sense. And then the skilled professionals and plumbers, electricians do a lot of training, obviously. They can get on with what they know and love without having to go out to lots of properties and maybe not get the job anyway. Or
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
No. Jenny, so someone's thinking, I need to start a business. We've talked about keep it simple, 100% with you with that. So what would you say? What's the sort of first steps? I know it's a very generic question, but what would you advise people to look at first of all? Apart from doing something you love, I mean, that is a huge point, something you like and love.
But to be honest with you, if you just think to yourself, I'm just talking about, say someone's just down in the luck, they've got nothing, right? So this is how you do it. So what you need to do is find something you really enjoy and you know you can do. I'd done a cleaning business at one point because I thought, you know what? I actually like cleaning. I'm a bit OCD. Let me roll with it. So I just posted some Facebook posts, went to my local Facebook post groups and just kept posting, made myself a logo, got myself a business number. I didn't even get myself a website.
No, that's
I'd kept it simple.
so
And then after a year, it built up so quickly. In a year, I had 4 or 5 teams working for me. So you just keep it simple and just build up from there. And then once you get to a certain level, then you think, right, okay, what I'll do now is like my daughter now, she's built the business up over the last, since I've not had it. And she's got a website, a QR code on the back of her car, and you scan a QR code, you go into a website, just that's it. That's how you build up. But just keep it simple first of all. Start building, getting your name out there, letting people know what you're doing. Doing some Facebook posts of like lives and videos and just tell people your journey. People love hearing someone's life's been so shit, but now it's amazing. They hate to hear that. They love listening about the Debbie Downer shit in people's lives. So tell them your journey, because I love listening to people's journeys. I could listen to people's journeys every day, like from rags to riches. I love them things. And even if you haven't got a depressing story, it's still a journey.
Yeah, that makes a huge sense. And it's what you and I both say, keep it simple, and what other guests have said, just don't overthink it. And the number of people that set up, they want a logo designed in a complicated way, not an easy way. They want to have their website set up. They want to have all these bells and whistles, and they haven't actually started their business at that point. And
I just went straight onto Vistaprint, got myself a logo,
yeah,
just ordered some cards, and off I went.
yeah.
I was like that with my business cards. Go, go, go. And even I sign ripped my car up. I had my back windscreen wrapped, and people used to phone off that. Just keep it simple. Old school's the best way, really, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I found my personal story, finding a handyman. It was literally the sign on his car outside a DIY shop. And I didn't know what product to buy. And I said, excuse me, do you mind? Can I ask? Amazing. And just because of that sign on the car.
See?
And
Yeah, keep it simple.
yes.
Love it.
Jenny, this has been amazing. Questions for you, so don't shoot off yet. But if there's one big one, and I've written down, do what you like, keep it simple. Any other takeaway that you want to leave with the listeners? And that's loads in just those two things.
Life's too short to do something that's shit.
Yeah.
Find something you enjoy, find something you love, and get your teeth into it and get stuck into it and try and make a business out of it. Why not? People like baking cakes. I couldn't think of anything worse, but people love it. For their mental health, they love it.
Yeah.
Open a cake baking business. Who cares?
Absolutely. That's it. Thank you. Now, my final questions for my guests. I think you'll be familiar with the Radio 4, our Radio 4 Desert Island disc. So you're on the desert island, you've got your immediate family, so you've got them with you. You can have one luxury, but not a boat. What luxury would you take to your desert island?
What luxury would I take? That's a hard one.
Yeah, I've had a whole range of things, no clues.
Coconut oil. Coconut oil. You can use that for everything, even clean your teeth, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's so wise. Right, the next one. You've got your fish and you've got your berries and fruit. What one food would you take that your favorite food, so to speak?
Got fish and berries, and what other food would I like to have to eat?
Yes, what's your favorite thing that you would take with you? You might get a little bit fed up with fresh fish and fresh fruit or whatever.
Ice cream. I love ice cream.
Mr.
Whippy machine. I'll take Mr. Whippy machine over anything.
Two more questions. Favorite piece of music? We'll assume we can work out how to play it. What's your favorite piece of music? Or what music would you take with you? Maybe not your favorite, maybe something else.
Music would I take with me?
Yeah.
Now, you're all going to laugh at me, but I love opera.
Oh, that is a surprise. Yeah, opera.
It's good for my mental. It's like chills me out. Yeah. And I cry.
Oh.
And I don't even know I'm crying because most of the time I don't even know what it's singing about, but I actually cry. I'm like, why am I crying?
It is very, very emotional. Any particular piece or just?
The one that, do you remember the one that, can't even remember now, the one that Charlotte, no, is it Charlotte Church sung? That is very powerful. I like Andreas Botticelli.
Amazing voices. It's not
That is off point.
But the power of opera, as you say, amazing. Okay, so you've got opera music blaring out on your desert island. Now, books. You've got Shakespeare and you've got the faith book of your choice. What one other book would you take?
Now, you're going to laugh at this, and I don't know how open-minded your listeners are, but it's called Power of the Pussy.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to ask anything more about that.
It's just a women empowerment book.
Women empowerment.
But I'm just saying, it's like they've got a volume 1 and 2. I just made one of my daughters read it, and she had to read it. She read it about 4 times. She loved it. That is one. That is a good book. And then I love the ones like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I love things like that. I've got a list of them. But when you just get on a roll, you just think, do you remember that time I need that one, and that time I need that one? But I like the women empowerment thing now and then.
Fantastic. And I'll grab the actual details from Jenny and we'll put them in the show notes. Whether you're listening or watching, look below the video or the audio, and they will all be there. Jenny, it's been amazing. Thank you for your time.
No, it's a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me.
Really, really our pleasure, and there's a lot to learn from hearing. And listen to what Jenny said. I've written this down. Do something you like and love, and keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening, guys. Thank you.
And all Jenny's contact points will be below in the show notes, so don't forget to look them up. Thank you. Bye.